Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to the channel. I just wanted to talk today. Well, not really talk. It's more of a rant on the state of Yamaha and them being kind of the odd one out when it comes to mid-range bikes. The reason I say this is if you look at Yamaha's website, you see the TW200, amazing bike. You don't see anymore the XT250, which is a discontinued bike, which was and still is an amazing bike for all those that know, you know. And now they have the WR125R. I'm not going to comment on that bike. I don't want to piss people off. But my issue is that that's it. There's nothing else until you add double the price of the first two bikes I mentioned and move into the Yamaha Tenere territory, which is a 700cc bike, $17,000 starting price in Canada, extremely heavy and extremely tall, not approachable by everyone. It's not for everyone. So I'm trying to think like, what is the logic behind Yamaha not putting out something to compete with the CF Moto 450 MT or the Touareg 660 is kind of close to the T7, so I'm not going to mention that. But the KLE 500, even the KLR 650. The DR 650, those bikes are still really good contenders, especially in the reliability department for long-range adventure bikes. But a lot of, the 390 Adventure R from KTM. You've got Husky 701, although that again is in the Tenere territory when it comes to price and approachability because it's a tall bike. So I guess the three main contenders are the CF Moto, the KLE, and the KLR, and the DR 650. But that, like, these companies are putting out these. There's also there's the Cove Rally 450. It's a little more money, but it's still within reason, and it's still fairly affordable compared to the Tenere 700, and it's not as heavy. That's another big factor, is weight. So I just don't understand why Yamaha would allow CF Moto to come in and scoop up a lot of sales when Yamaha has the money, the research, the development, all of that. I mean, they could use another motor that they already have and incorporate it into the theoretical Yamaha Tenere 450 or Yamaha Tenere 500, and they can make a killing because of Yamaha reliability. But they're not doing it. It seems like they're deliberately avoiding making anything for the mid-range. It's either you got your little dual sport or you got your huge Tenere, nothing in the middle. And I understand that the only logical explanation for that could be the fact that they want you buying more bikes. They want you graduating from the little dual sport and moving up to a bigger bike. Problem is, though, the leap is quite large. To go from a 125R or a 200 to a 700, which is significantly taller as well and heavier, is like there needs to be a step in between. So I don't know, like, if you can think of any reasons here that I'm missing, please feel free to comment below. But like right now, I can't wrap my head around it because CF Moto is eating everyone's lunch. They've gone into the scene and they've just started elbow smashing everybody and saying, "Hey, fuck you. We're coming in here and we're cleaning this area up that you guys completely ignored, and we're making a killing. So much so that, like, honestly, once I have the funds set aside to buy my next bike, I'm seriously considering either a DR650 or a CF Moto 450 MT. The only thing I'm not too keen on is all that TFT display. You know, I'm not a big fan of that kind of stuff because complexity is the enemy of reliability. But there's still a lot of time till I save up the cash, so there's still a lot of thinking to do. But basically, if Yamaha doesn't come up with something by then, fuck them. The XT250 is the first and only Yamaha I'll ever buy. Because it's one of those things where, like, you like the brand, but they don't care. They don't give a fuck. They're like, well, you don't have the money for a Tenere? Sorry about your luck. Not tall enough to ride a Tenere? Sorry about your luck. Whereas you look at other companies and they have options. So that, like, you got the money to buy the CF Moto MTX 1000 or 1000 MTX. Cool. It's taller, heavier, but hey, there's a market for it. You want the 800 MTX? It's a little lighter, like not quite as tall, or it could be as tall with the rally seat. There's a market for it. You're not that tall, and you're not that experienced, and you don't want something that you got the 450 MT. And if you're even shorter than the stock setting on the stock seat, there's another setting on the stock seat for even shorter people. Like, the Chinese are really smart. They're like, we're gonna accommodate every single fucking square inch of this market, so that way nobody feels left out, and we'll get every sale that we possibly can from every single person. Because there's so many bikes that I've looked at that I've had to just say, no, can't do it. Way too tall. Just can't ride it. Impossible. There's no option. Even lowering would cause an issue where the monoshock would be so close to the ground, it would be pointless. Might as well get a road bike, etc. That's one of the main reasons I went with the XT250, and I'm glad I did, because it's bulletproof. And I like bulletproof, especially when you're paying close to $9,000 for a fucking 250. Yeah, Yamaha tax. Anyways, at least it's bulletproof. But without getting too heated, I just want to say, like, I don't know what the hell Yamaha is doing. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not an economist. I'm not a marketing expert. But it would make sense for them, in my opinion, to release something in that mid-range from 450 to 600 in either an ADV or a dual sport, because they're losing a huge share of that market to the Chinese manufacturers. And I mean, hey, more power to the Chinese manufacturers. I mean, you look what happened to Harley Davidson and all the other manufacturers when the Japanese came in. Only the diehards cared, and the rest came in and took over. Same with the Japanese car market. JDM sports cars in the 90s, they cleaned the fuck up, and now JDM is highly sought after. Those cars have gone through the roof in the Mark IV Supra, for example, the Skyline. Like, anyways, I'm getting a little off topic, but you get the point. They're asleep for too long. Before they know it, they'll be like, nobody cares anymore. Because I even watched Romaniacs 2026 recently. Wouldn't you know it, more CF Moto 450s in there than Teneres. And let me tell you, every CF Moto crossed the finish line, and I seen a lot of guys on Teneres picking them up constantly. Boy, was that probably draining a lot of energy from them. So, like, I'm not bashing on Teneres shit. If I was taller, I would buy one. I would love to have one. But my point is that Yamaha is missing this market. And as someone who really loves my XT and loves the reliability that it gives me, I'm kind of pissed that there's nothing in the middle there between what they have on offering now and the T7, because I would love to buy a mid-range bike from them, because I know it would be bulletproof. But hey, I got another couple of years of saving And in that time, if I still don't see anything wrong and no major huge flaws with CF Moto's 450, guess I'm just gonna have to jump to another brand. Anyways, that's my rant. If anyone has any insight, something I missed to enlighten me on this matter, please leave a comment below. But right now I just can't see any reason why they wouldn't. They've got the money, they've got the R&D, and they've got other platforms they could reuse, like the KLE 500 did with their bike. Anyways, enough of the rambling. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me rant about this. And like I said, if you have any insight, leave a comment below. Take care.